from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
Now at noon, another very busy travel day with millions of people hitting the road. We'll have a live report on how things are looking out there. And today marks the first day of Kwanzaa, and Malcolm X College is kicking off their week-long celebration. We'll take you inside. Good Friday afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us for Fox 32 News at Noon. I'm Brian Jackson. Let's give you a live look outside. Had a little bit of rain and kind of cloudy skies out there, a little bit gray. Let's check in with Mike Kaplan to see what's in store for the rest of your Friday.
All right, Brian, it's been kind of a murky morning. We've had fog, some drizzle. It's going to be a gray day. We do have some ups and downs here weather-wise. Morning showers and fog, that's kind of ending. The rest of the day just cloudy. Unseasonably warm on Sunday, mid to upper 50s with showers, maybe even a thunderstorm coming in on Sunday. But it does turn sharply colder next week with highs only in the 20s, and that takes us right into 2026. Temperatures right now, we're seeing some mid-50s in the Kankakee River Valley this early afternoon, mostly mid-40s. I think most of the area can get to around 50 degrees for the high today. Here's what I'm forecasting. Let's go for an official 50 at O'Hare, maybe a little bit cooler far north, but there you see some of those mid-50s showing up in southern portions of our viewing area. There is a soaking rain on the way, and it's going to impact part of your weekend. I'll tell you when the rain's going to arrive and how we were going to see a big drop in temperatures in just a couple of minutes. Brian?
Well, developing news, we have learned that it was an accident that started a house fire in Zion on Christmas night. So neighbors saw the flames and then ran over to help get everyone out safely. Fire officials said that the fire started on the front porch. The search continues for a missing 15-year-old. This is a look at her. Isabella Barraza is from Stickney Township. Her family reported her missing on Christmas Day. Police say that she was last seen wearing ripped blue jeans, a white shirt, a black jacket, and a black hat that had the word cookies on it. She also has a nose piercing. So again, take a look at your screen. If you have any information on where she could be, please call the Cook County Sheriff's Office. Chicago police are warning people in River North about a new robbery scam. Investigators say that each case starts with a group of men approaching the victim and asking for donations or for you to follow them on Instagram. Then once they get their hands on your phone, they use Zelle or Apple Pay to send money to themselves. Officers say it has happened several times on West Ohio Street between LaSalle and Dearborn. Well, millions of Americans are traveling today to run out the holiday season. AAA says more than a third of Americans traveled away from home this holiday season. Asherette is at Buc-ee's in Smiths Grove, Kentucky. How's it looking out there?
Well, Brian, the guy who drives this RV probably doesn't want you to see what's on the other side of that, but it is busy, I promise. There's cars coming in and out. I think there's even a line on the overpass over there to get into Buc-ee's. So we've seen this constant flow of people. Now, this particular location is just off Interstate 65, which, as you might know, is the main corridor for people traveling from Nashville, Tennessee, up to your neck of the woods in Chicago.
I'm from Indiana, so I'm going down to Nashville, so about 4.5. But I know the traffic's going to come because people are traveling for the holidays.
I think we left early enough. We left last night around 9 p.m., yeah. I think. So we're halfway through, more than halfway through. Yeah. We're on the last little stretch of it, so I think we'll be all right.
AAA says 109 million people drove to their holiday destinations, 8 million flew, and nearly 5 million either took a train or took a cruise. Now, folks driving today might notice cheaper gas prices. That's because AAA says the national average is around $2.85 a gallon, which is about 20 cents cheaper than this time last year. Nick Ewan with The Points Guy, a travel website, says today and tomorrow could be the busiest travel days of the holiday season. Ewan says you could avoid the headache altogether just by getting out the door earlier.
On the roads, anytime you can leave prior to 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning to try to beat that early rush, traffic is generally just going to build up more and more as the day goes on. When it comes to flying, early flights also generally going to be the better option.
And if you're flying before the new year, TSA says Sunday could be the busiest day at the airports with nearly 3 million passengers trying to get home from Christmas trips. Brian?
All right. Thank you so much, Asher. Time is now 12:04 this Friday. A week-long celebration of culture and community is underway on the West Side. Malcolm X College is hosting free Kwanzaa celebrations through New Year's Day. Our Gabriella Primus has a preview.
Celebrating the holiday tradition rolls on, and now it's with Kwanzaa here at Malcolm X, a whole week-long celebration that you can look forward to. I'm with Barbara and Sydney. Thank you, too, for joining us, and of course, we have a great dance group behind us as well. All right, let's talk about Kwanzaa and the great event that you have coming up this week.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having us. So this week we're celebrating Kwanzaa, which is to celebrate 7 principles of Kwanzaa, including unity, creativity, faith, and all of those great things. And it's going to be 7 days this week.
Okay. Sydney, we have an awesome table next to us, very colorful, vibrant. You know, people, of course, are familiar with Kwanzaa, but maybe they don't know the ins and outs and they want to learn more. This is a great opportunity for that as well. Let's go through some of the traditions that we typically see during a Kwanzaa celebration.
Thank you so much. So first we have our bandera, which is our red, black, and green flag. We have our straw mat, which is the mkeka. Then we have our Kanara, which is our candle holder, and in the candle holder is our Mishama Saba, which is our 7 candles, which represent 7 principles for the 7 days. We have our gifts, our zawadi, which are given to children, and then we have our fruits, and which is the mazo, which is represents our crops, and then we have our muhindi, which represents an ear corn, represents each child that's present in the household. And then we have our unity cup, which is our Kikombe Cha Umoja, which we use to pour into a plant to for libations to acknowledge our ancestors that are present. And I just also want to mention that Kwanzaa is a non-religious celebration started by Maulana Kuranga in 1966.
It's so beautiful, colorful, and it's nice that you're celebrating this weekend throughout the entire week. How much would it mean to you, Barbara, to see people come to Malcolm X, maybe bring friends and family who are sticking around, you know, later in the holiday, to learn a little extra?
Yeah, this would mean a great deal for us, for the community, with their family and friends, to come out and celebrate this cultural celebration that is a tradition of principles that can be enacted in families, communities. So it would be a really great deal for us to see people come out and celebrate.
Because you guys make it affordable too. There's vendors here if you want to maybe get a little extra gift or gift yourself something. Tell us about that.
So the event is free. Come in for free. Come and learn about the history of Kwanzaa for our drum procession and drum call at noon, and our performances every day start at 1 o'clock. And then you can take a look at our wonderful market village. We also will have food available for purchase, but we have clothing, we have jewelry, we have art, we have purses, leather, smell goods, everything.
We have a dance corps behind us. Who is this, and when can we see some of the performances this week?
Yes, this is Najwa Dance Group, and we're going to have performances every day this week. So the drum call will start at noon, and the 1 o'clock performance hour will begin.
Millions of Americans are just days away from seeing a big spike in their health insurance premiums. That is because COVID-era subsidies from the Affordable Care Act will expire on January 1st. And Congress left Washington without any sort of fix. This means that people who buy the coverage through the marketplace are about to see those prices go way up.
Access to high-quality health care can't simply be a privilege that's only available to the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected.
We are putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound.
A Fox News poll this month shows 55% of registered voters are extremely concerned about the cost of health care. That's up from 46%. The problem is lawmakers don't have an agreement on how to fix it. Well, more heated debate is expected on Capitol Hill in the coming weeks, with another potential government shutdown on the horizon. The government is currently funded through January 30th. If a deal isn't reached, though, we could see a similar story to earlier this year when federal workers were furloughed for a record 43 days. Well, whoever said there's no place like home for the holidays may not have fully considered interest rates. As Doug Luzada reports, home affordability is shaping up to be a major issue in 2026.
1, 2, 3.
Huge real estate deals may be second nature to Donald Trump, but it's the smaller ones that most of us make that are keeping the White House economic team up at night.
We've got a list of things that we're going to present to the president.
The president's chief economist teasing what he says will happen in coming days as the administration mulls over what to do about home affordability.
I expect that most of us are going to be down for a big chunk of the week after Christmas at Mar-a-Lago, going through all the plans for next year. And definitely we have a big list of housing ideas that have been vetted very carefully by the cabinet secretaries to present to the president in a week or two, and we'll see which ones he picks.
Some ideas already floated include a 50-year mortgage. That would reduce monthly payments, but it could also effectively lead to a lifetime of mortgage debt with massive interest costs. Another idea, portable mortgages. If you already own a home and don't want to move because you locked into a super low rate a few years ago and don't want to lose it, portability could allow you to carry that existing loan to a new house.
Some people who are empty nesters are living in a 6-bedroom house. They don't need that much space, so it's going to open up that inventory for a growing family.
But that could also trigger a demand spike, causing home prices to go up even faster. And that's the challenge for the president or anyone else trying to make homes more affordable, the unintended consequences of tinkering with the real estate market. In Washington, I'm Doug Luzada, Fox News.
And on to a developing story. The U.S. military launching airstrikes in Nigeria on Christmas night. President Trump says that the strikes targeted ISIS militants who he accused of killing Christians. U.S. Africa Command said in a statement that the strikes killed multiple ISIS terrorists. It comes after President Trump accused Nigeria's government of failing to stop the persecution of Christians. The country is facing violence from multiple armed groups, including at least 2 affiliated with the Islamic State. And President Trump is expected to host Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky this weekend to try and reach an agreement on a peace plan. Ukrainian officials say that meeting will happen on Sunday in Florida. It follows a weekend of talks between top negotiators from both Russia and Ukraine. Most parts of the deal have already been agreed to, including security guarantees Kyiv would receive from both the U.S. and Europe. Well, over a month after that deadly plane crash, Kentucky's governor now says the death toll is up to 15. A man named Elaine Rodriguez-Colina died from his injuries last night. That crash happened as a cargo plane was taking off from Louisville. One of the engines came off. The NTSB says cracks were found where the engine connected to the wing. And California has been dealing with an atmospheric river, and now 3 people have died from it. The storms are leading to warnings today about mudslides, and there's still evacuation orders for burn scar areas. Casey Stiegel has more.
Dramatic video shows a Ventura County air rescue. Crews pulling a hiker to safety in Simi Valley after becoming stranded from rising floodwaters. 30 miles east in Sunland, another Los Angeles suburb, the driver of this Jeep got stuck in the mud and also had to be rescued. First responders say dozens of swiftwater rescues have been carried out over the last 24 hours. With flash flood warnings stretching from the southern part of the state all the way up to the Bay Area. California's governor declaring a state of emergency in at least 6 counties.
I'm concerned more for other folks than ourselves, just folks uphill, friends that are living in their RVs on their land right now.
The foothills devastated by wildfires earlier this year, now experiencing a new threat, mudslides.
We're always concerned, especially when the ground's already saturated.
A strong Christmas morning storm clobbered San Francisco and other parts of the Bay Area when gusts of more than 70 miles per hour toppled trees into power lines, sending more than 100,000 people in the dark at the height of it all.
Wind is the biggest factor when it comes to storms. We see debris flying through the air that can hit our lines.
More than 11 inches of rain have fallen in some places, and Mother Nature isn't letting up yet.
It's become increasingly unstable with the winds coming in with that. A lot of trees we suspect are going to come down, obviously bringing power lines down with them, and also coming into homes.
Not exactly a holiday postcard, but some are just taking it all in stride.
This is our winter weather. It's happening, which is why we got the flashlights ready, because we're ready to lose power.
And more bad weather is on the way for parts of the Midwest and Northeast. A major storm system is expected to bring freezing rain and snow today. Definitely something to keep in mind if you're driving or flying to one of those areas. We're back here at home. Time is now 12:17. Live look outside had kind of some off and on rain so far to start this Friday as we check in with Mike Kaplan to see what's in store for the rest of your Friday.
All right, mild temperatures for the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Let's look at them. Today, I think we can hit 50 degrees for the official high at O'Hare, and if it doesn't quite get there in some of the far northern suburbs, it's not going to be far away. Look, mid-30s, 34, it's a normal high. We've been past that all night and all morning long. And you get far enough south, we're looking at mid-50s, even a few spots. I think you can get the upper 50s today, and that's with like no sunshine whatsoever. Now, tomorrow, temperatures may not be quite this mild, but still warmer than normal. Now we're looking at a few low 40s around Waukegan and Zion, maybe a 45 around Aurora, Naperville. I think 45 will get it done at O'Hare. Northwest Indiana, low to mid 40s for you as well. Maybe close to 50 south of I-80. You know, LaSalle, Peru, Ottawa, you may get 48 to 50 degrees for the high. The satellite showing the departure of actual rain, but those clouds are locked in here. By the way, in Michigan, they're dealing with a pretty significant ice storm. If you're headed that way or know anybody that's driving there, it's going to be very slippery there with winter weather advisories in place. So we're locked in with cloud cover even after the fog is gone. Tonight, I think it's going to be cloudy, and there could be a reforming of the fog that we have seen. But then we get to tomorrow, and that is when, or not tomorrow, but Sunday, that is when rain is going to be moving in here. May start as early as Saturday night, but once we get to Sunday afternoon, take a look at some of these numbers here. Might be an inch of rain on the way, some of the heaviest rain we've seen in a long time. Back to you.
Well, today marks the beginning of return season. The National Retail Federation says January will see a peak period of gift returns and exchanges. According to Adobe Analytics, about 25 to 35% of items are returned the day after Christmas. Most commonly returned items include clothing, shoes, accessories, and electronics. Biggest reasons for the returns include the wrong size, maybe a rush purchase, or the customer simply didn't want it. And if you plan on regifting some of the things that you got yesterday, you're not alone. A new survey shows 42% of Americans will regift this year to manage their expenses, and more than half say that they hope to avoid hosting holiday gatherings due to cost. Others say that they were more likely to shop for sales and deals on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and were inclined to buy less expensive or fewer gifts. A new year is right around the corner. Today, the 7-foot-tall numerals for 2026 are going up high above Times Square ahead of next week's ball dropping ceremony. Each number is made up of more than 140 LED puck-shaped lights. And this year, for the very first time ever, they're programmable and able to display an array of colors and patterns. And if you're not going to be in NYC, you can spend the start of 2026 right here with Fox Chicago. You can join our Anita Blanton and Jake Hamilton live from Tao Chicago nightclub to ring in the new year. There's going to be performances by Bun B, Cupid, Cleo Fox, and so much more. Fox Local New Year's Eve Live. The party starts at 10 p.m. right here on Fox 32 and on Fox Local Chicago. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to ring in 2026? Fox 30.
In today's Health Watch, researchers at Northwestern had developed a drug that could eventually lead to a cure for Alzheimer's. It is called NU9. They found it's able to lower the levels of a toxic protein molecule that turns into the plaque associated with Alzheimer's. Researchers also used the trials to understand how Alzheimer's develops decades before any symptoms appear. If the drug does advance to human clinical trials, it could become a preventative treatment for those at risk of developing the disease. On Christmas, many of us were surrounded by family and friends, which means you may have been exposed to the flu. Health experts say that the season started early, with cases surging in November to levels that we typically see in late September. The new, more severe H3N2 substrain is behind most of these cases. That strain isn't included in this season's vaccine formulation, but still experts are urging folks to get it.
Not so different that the vaccine doesn't work. But even if the match is slightly off, we do have really good data in flu, as we did for COVID, that suggests that if you've been recently vaccinated, recently propped up your antibodies, that your likelihood of getting a severe case, even if you get a case of the flu, is so much less.
Vaccinations help slow transmission, especially if you're going to be around the elderly, the very young, and those who are immunocompromised. Well, there's a lot of parents who say that their kids are just spending way too much time on screens. C.B. Cotton takes a look at how parents are going old school for their children's upbringing.
Research states that constant screen time or even intermittent screen time on a daily basis is causing our neural pathways to change. What happens later when we find that something has gone awry in our child's brain from the use of these technologies?
Pew Research revealed more than 40% of parents say they could be doing a better job managing their kids' screen time.
We all feel a little icky about talking about how much technology we use.
Aaron Lochner, author of The Opt-Out Family, has what some might call an extreme take.
I would much rather abstain entirely. Parenting without screen time is a lot easier than parenting with it.
Even some of the highest profile tech executives say they are raising their kids with a low-tech lifestyle.
When I interviewed over 250 sources in and out of Silicon Valley, they had child development experts on their team. And what that showed was they know sort of the key to your child's delight. And so I think most parents feel very powerless to that.
But there's good news.
We have everything that technology cannot give, which is eye contact and warmth and a little shoulder pat on the way to the kitchen.
There's also a renaissance of old school tech, including the comeback of landlines.
I think integrating some of those pieces of our former existence, of different eras, is always a fun thing to experiment with. There are so many people coming alongside and linking arms to really help our children navigate this world that we've created for them.
The American Academy of Pediatrics no longer has a firm recommendation for an acceptable amount of screen time. Instead, it urges parents to focus on the quality of their children's digital interactions. In New York, CB Cotton, Fox News.
More news and weather coming up after a short break.
Get ready for
seeing the Fox.
No matter.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the top stories we're following for you at noon. The search continues for a missing 15-year-old. Isabella Barraza is from Stickney Township. This is a look at her on the screen. Her family reported her missing on Christmas. Police say that she was last seen wearing ripped blue jeans, a white shirt, a black jacket, and a black hat that says cookies on it. She also has a nose piercing. If you have any information on where she could be, please call the Cook County Sheriff's Office. President Trump is expected to host Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago this weekend to try and reach an agreement on a peace deal. Ukrainian officials said that meeting will happen on Sunday. So far, most parts of the deal have been agreed to between the U.S. and Ukraine. As officials from both countries say that, including the security guarantees from Kyiv would receive from the U.S. and Europe. Millions of Americans traveling today to round out the end of the year holiday season. AAA says 109 people hit the road to their holiday destinations, and nearly 5 million either took a cruise or got on a train. TSA says Sunday could be the busiest day at the airports, with about 3 million passengers trying to get home from Christmas trips. But here, if you are going to be taking back some of those packages, we got some kind of above average temperatures out there, a little rain, a little gray out there. Mike Kaplan has the rest of your forecast.
All right, here's what we're talking about. Mild weather for the next 3 days, and then a shot of some colder air. And there's going to be, I think, a significant rain event coming here for part of the weekend. Today, you take a look at this wind map. These are what we call wind vectors or streamlines. See how everything's kind of circling around Lake Michigan? It's an area of low pressure. Went right overhead here this morning, brought us a couple of rain showers, had us locked in fog. But now we're starting to see a wind shift to the northwest. That's going to import drier air into the Chicago area, and that should erode some of this fog that we have seen throughout the morning hours. Highs today, I think we'll hit 50 for the majority of the area, maybe a couple of degrees less warm far north. It'll be the mid to upper 50s in the Kankakee River Valley. That storm is moving out, but there's another one on the horizon, and that will be coming in on Sunday. So let's run you through the futurecast here. Quite a bit of cloud cover throughout the day today. I think tonight it's going to be cloudy, and we will likely see fog get going again, hopefully not as thick as what we saw overnight. Tomorrow, another largely gray day, and I don't think it's going to be as warm as it is today. More like mid-40s instead of a 50. Anybody gets sun late in the afternoon, probably going to be southwest of the city. And then, here comes the rain. Overnight into Sunday morning, already some soaking rain. And you see where these orange, this could be thunderstorms mixed in there. I think the greatest chance of a thunderstorm will be Sunday afternoon, likely south of I-80. But these are some heavy rains coming in here. So Sunday is going to be a soaker. 50 today, fog is improving, and we'll see some mid-50s well south of the city. Tonight, maybe some patchy fog, rather mild with a low of 40. That's warmer than the normal high this time of year. Here's the 7-day outlook. 45 tomorrow, 55 on Sunday with rain and maybe a thunderstorm mixed in. Then we get that blast of colder air in here. It won't be bitter, but it's certainly colder than we've seen in a while. Could be a snow shower Monday morning. No accumulation expected. I think New Year's Eve is going to be quiet with temperatures in the 20s. Back to you.
Well, lots of football action yesterday, but if you weren't there for the game, you were probably there for a Christmas concert to remember. The one and only Snoop Dogg took the stage for an iconic Christmas halftime show. He was introduced by his longtime bestie, Martha Stewart, then was joined by stars behind the K-pop Demon Hunter movie and more surprise appearances from Lainey Wilson and Andrea and Matteo Baselli. Well, the Green Bay Packers have clinched one of the final playoff spots after the Minnesota Vikings beat the Detroit Lions. Detroit kept it pretty close until the fourth quarter when Jordan Addison took it 65 yards to the house. Vikings win this one 23-10, eliminating the Lions from playoff contention. But the Chicago Bears have a chance to claim the North on Sunday night and also still have an opportunity to clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Our Cassie Carlson breaks down all the possible playoff scenarios for the Bears.
The Bears have Christmas Day off before returning to the practice field on Friday in preparation for the San Francisco 49ers. They're an 11-4 team riding a 5-game winning streak. And while the Bears have already clinched their spot in the playoffs, they are still playing for the division. An incredible place to be in Ben Johnson's first season as head coach. He and quarterback Caleb Williams have developed a chemistry and relationship that continues to grow week after week. And the way they've gotten to know each other is showing up on game days and in their record.
We both have the same goals, we both care deeply about this team. We care deeply about this city. And I care deeply about his success as well. He understands that now at this point. And you only get to that by spending a lot of time together. And what I've grown to love about him, and I hope he would echo the same thing, I think we're mentally very similar. We share a lot of the, same competitive drive. And we think very much the same way in a lot of regards.
First, him as a leader, and that starts with himself and how he holds himself. And you can see that, you can feel that, in the building, throughout the weeks, throughout the months and things like that. You get, he upholds himself to a standard. And then from there, he preaches, what he preaches is what, is how he goes about his day, how he goes about his business. And then, what he's told us and how he's going to be, he's been just that. So he's been really consistent. And then from there, you get out into the football field and all these different things that he tells me or tells us, we go out there and it works, and then you start building that trust, that bond, and you start believing and really believing in what he's saying and what he's teaching us, and that attitude, that mindset that he carries, that's the attitude of the team.
And while of course we know the Bears have clinched their spot in the playoffs, and we have mentioned many times before, they are still playing for more. They can win the NFC North this weekend with a win against the 49ers or a Green Bay loss to the Ravens. At Hallis Hall, Cassie Carlson, Fox 32 Sports.
You can catch all the action Sunday right here on Fox Chicago, our home of the Bears. Our coverage of the Bears and Niners starts with Bears Game Day Live at 9:30 a.m. That's leading up to Fox NFL Sunday. Then be sure to stick around after the game for full post-game reaction and analysis on Bears Game Night Live. More news to come here on Fox 32 News at Noon.
With Christmas behind us, millions of Americans are turning their focus to the cleanup. I'm Martha Rivera in Washington with the do's and don'ts of holiday recycling coming up.
I'm Jonathan Lawson. Here
The U.S. Postal Service is planning to raise shipping rates in the new year. Priority Mail would increase nearly 7%. Priority Mail Express would go up by 5%, and Ground Advantage Service nearly 8%. The Post Office says the increases are needed because of budget shortfalls. If approved, these new rates would go into effect starting January the 18th. This most wonderful time of the year is also considered one of the most wonderful times to recycle. Madeline Rivera has the latest on how to keep your holiday stuff from going to waste.
Christmas tree recycling programs are springing up across the country, the day after Christmas marking the unofficial start to repurposing the nearly 25 to 30 million Christmas trees purchased each year in the United States.
You know, the day after Christmas, so it's time to clean up and get moving for the new year, and we always take it back and recycle it when we're done with it and bring it to the dump and let them chip it up.
To encourage recycling, many communities are offering free tree pickup programs.
One thing that we want to stay away from is any type of Christmas lights. These are a no-no in the recycling bin. They tangle up the equipment, get caught up.
But with a little extra work, recycling post-Christmas trees can make a huge impact, reducing waste and promoting environmental sustainability.
This way it's getting mulched, and then they'll use it on the garden, the community gardens here.
Other big holiday recycling items include cardboard boxes, greeting cards, and wrapping paper.
Christmas wrapping paper is actually paper. You can put that in your recycling cart.
Typically, household waste increases by more than 25% from Thanksgiving to New Year's. Those extra holiday items contributing to a whopping 1 million additional tons of trash entering landfills each week.
I do what I can in that realm, so like recycling all wrapping paper, or any garbage that we can from the holidays.
Collectively, if we all do it, it can make a huge impact to keep a large amount of material out of the landfill.
And if you're planning a post-Christmas clear-out, you'll want to separate any foil, tinsel, or glitter, as those cannot be recycled. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
And back here at home, the Department of Streets and Sanitation is hosting its annual holiday tree recycling program. It starts next week, January the 3rd. You can drop off your natural holiday tree at one of 27 recycling locations located all over the city. All of your decorations and lights, though, should be taken off your tree before you recycle it. To find a location near you, visit chicagorecycles.org. The lucky Powerball winner in Arkansas hits the jackpot on Christmas Eve, where they bought the ticket and what the town they bought it in is now saying.
Want to know the NFC?
A 94-year-old man who had been married for 70 years just spent his first Christmas without his wife. Bob Kenny got help from family and a caregiver to make sure he was able to spend the holiday in the home he shared with his late wife, surrounded by people who care.
Last I saw Mary, I got out of bed and turned around and looked at her, and she had passed. She had a smile on her face, and I gave her a kiss, and I said, that's the way to go.
The first time I met him, he asked my name, and I told him I'm Jane. Then Mom Mary, as I used to call her, I said, oh, you're a wonderful lady. Even I can see the one who raised you up are good parents.
It's like Thanksgiving. It's to thank everybody, enjoy life while you've got it, and just have a marvelous time.
Well, Senior Helpers of Seattle helped surprise Bob with a special holiday and even opened some gifts on Christmas. Cabot, Arkansas is adjusting to a newfound celebrity of being the epicenter of the Powerball's latest winner. The Arkansas Lottery says someone walked into a Murphy USA gas and convenience store, plunking down some money on a single ticket and now walking away with a Christmas miracle. The people there are caught up imagining who the winner is and what they would do with the money.
Ever hear about it being like so local, and me and my family are talking about that. They're like, oh, I wonder who it is.
I definitely buy a lot of bikes. Definitely get me a pretty good house.
I would be looking at vacations for sure. Be like, oh, where should I go next?
I think they're hiding. I think that would be my reaction, is to hide and figure out what to do.
Probably what to do is hire a lawyer. Well, Arkansas has a rule that allows lottery winners to remain anonymous for 3 years. Either way, they'll have to decide now whether to take the $1.87 billion before taxes or the $834.9 million cash option. Well, authorities are investigating an unusual heist in Minnesota. Police said someone made off with $400,000 worth of lobster that was on its way to Costco. The shipping truck was hijacked before it could ever make that delivery. The CEO of the shipping company says this kind of crime has become more sophisticated.
Faking commercial driver's licenses. They're changing the names inside of trucks. They're changing domain names and email addresses. This particular situation, we've made some changes internally to make sure it doesn't happen again. But at the end of the day, these guys are good. This isn't a mom and pop shop that is doing this. This is organized crime.
Homeland Security investigations up to $35 billion of cargo is stolen nationwide each year. With 2025 coming to an end, we'll look back at some of the top entertainment stories of the year. That's still to come on Fox 32 News at Noon.
First and More. New episodes Tuesday night.
Box office toppers, music record breakers, award winners, and so much more. Ashley Dvorkin takes a look back at some of the biggest entertainment stories of 2025.
From a bewitching friendship to Swift's engagement era, here's a look at some of the biggest entertainment stories of 2025.
Cinderella. Yes, Cinderella.
The indie film Enora swept the Academy Awards. The story of a Brooklyn sex worker who marries the son of a Russian oligarch took Best Picture, Best Actress for Mikey Madison, Film Editing, Original Screenplay, and Best Director for Sean Baker.
16 carriages.
At the Grammys, Beyoncé, going country with Cowboy Carter, won her Album of the Year, marking her first time winning the category.
You know who could.
In additional accolades, the title of People's Sexiest Man Alive went to Wicked star Jonathan Bailey. Travis Kelce popped the question to Taylor Swift, and the two shared their engagement news in August. Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco tied the knot in September. In celebrity splits, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban announced their divorce in September after being married 19 years. In court cases following an 8-week trial, Sean Diddy Combs was found guilty of 2 of 5 charges against him. A New York jury found him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution and not guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Diddy was sentenced to 50 months in prison. His lawyers were granted an expedited appeal set to begin in April 2026. One legal battle between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni came to a conclusion. A judge formally ended Baldoni's $400 million countersuit after he and his company missed a deadline to refile. Lively's sexual misconduct and retaliation lawsuit against Baldoni has a trial set for March 2026. It all started in December 2024 when Lively sued Baldoni for sexual harassment, retaliation, and a campaign to destroy her career.
It's Jimmy Kimmel Live.
When it comes to stars at the center of controversy, Jimmy Kimmel Live was temporarily suspended by Disney and ABC after remarks he made following the assassination of political activist Charlie Kirk. The decision led to a wave of debate over free speech, with many celebrities speaking up in Kimmel's defense. The suspension lasted 6 days. In music news, Swifties got a new album with The Life of a Showgirl, and only 5 days into its release, set the record for the biggest opening week for an album in the streaming era. According to Billboard, the collection sold 3.2 million copies, with an extra 300,000 units from streaming. The Weeknd's After Hours Till Dawn tour surpassed $1 billion, making it the highest-grossing tour by a solo male artist ever. Spotify Wrapped named Bad Bunny their 2025 most streamed artist globally, with more than 19.8 billion streams. The global superstar also goes into next year gearing up to headline the Super Bowl 60 halftime show.
The world just wants to bring us down.
Adele announced her first acting role. She'll be part of Tom Ford's upcoming Anne Rice adaptation, Cry to Heaven.
Anything you can dream about, you can create.
Banking big at the domestic box office, the brick-building, game-inspired adventure, a Minecraft movie, scored more than $423 million. Marvel released several adventures: Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and The Fantastic Four: First Steps.
You can wave that wand all you want.
Big blockbusters back on the big screen included a return to Emerald City in the musical sequel Wicked for Good, and James Cameron taking audiences back to Pandora for the third in the Avatar series, Avatar: Fire and Ash.
And we will find another way.
Both high-flying franchises are potential contenders for the 2026 Oscars, hosted by Conan O'Brien March 15th, as Hollywood rounds out the year by rolling out the red carpet on award season. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Coming up, Mike will have one final check of your weekend forecast.
Save big money at Menards.
on the next TMZ Live 8.
At 3.
With the weather outside not so bad, it may be a good day to start practicing because Waukegan's 27th annual Polar Plunge will be on Thursday. It is happening between 10 and 11 a.m. at the Waukegan Municipal Beach. The money raised will go towards Special Recreation Services of Northern Lake County. You will need to register online, though, before noon on Tuesday. It is $20 to take a dip. And if you didn't get all the gifts on your wish list, it's okay to let it out because today is National Whiners Day. The day after Christmas, people are encouraged to do all of their whining. Some are a little frustrated about the weather, others about having to return to work, while others, they're annoyed that their relatives won't go home for another few days. But the top complaint is Christmas gifts. However, instead of focusing on what you may not have gotten yesterday, it's also a great time to reflect on all of the things that you are grateful for. Like you're grateful for a great weekend forecast, a little gray out there, a little rainy, but at least it's not all that cold out there. Here's Mike with the rest of your weekend forecast.
All right, here's what we've got. Today, a lot of cloud cover. The fog is kind of easing up. Visibilities are improving here through the afternoon hours. I'm going to go for a 50-degree high at O'Hare. But here's the deal. We're already seeing temperatures in the mid-50s well south of the city. So some of you are going to have a really mild day today. All of us way above normal, but crazy stuff south. 40 tonight. That's warmer than the normal high this time of year. Could be patchy fog once again with that light wind regime. We've kind of trapped some low-level moisture, and that is why fog is a potential problem. Tomorrow, 45, maybe some peaks of sunshine late in the day. Then we get some rain late at night, but Sunday, occasional showers. There could even be a thunderstorm in there, but look at that high, 55. Some of the areas that right now are in the mid-50s, you could have a 60-degree day with a gusty thunderstorm. Then the colder air comes in here. Monday, Tuesday, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Maybe a snow shower on Monday morning. No big deal with that. It'll be cold but dry on New Year's Eve night.
All right, and make sure to tune in to Fox 32 to catch the Bears take on the 49ers. Our coverage starts with